Good evening. KATHARANGAM welcomes you to a book reading session. Today I am going to read to you a story written by our most famous wordsmith, Shashi Tharoor. I know your name almost as well as my own. Arvind. Sometimes she cries it out at night when she's with me on my bed. Arvind. How I have grown to hate that name. I know what you look like. I see you in my nightmares, in the other half of my mind when I think of her. I see you in her eyes when she speaks of you, and you are a wall between us I cannot surmount. If we pass each other on the street one day, I know I will spot you. You will look like a man who feels he ought to be recognized. I know how wonderful you are. What a heart of gold God has blessed you with. How you smile, how your teeth flash in the sun and your eyes twinkle as you toss your hair back from your forehead and walk towards her. She tells me of you sometimes, and when she speaks, she looks indescribably beautiful. Head partially bowed, eyes far away, lips moving quietly in remembrance. And I yearn to touch the loose curling strand of hair that falls on her cheek. But no, I cannot reach her. And despite her beauty, she's frightening then, lost to me, as I sit there next to her and see how distant you can make her. She sits wrapped in a tender, impenetrable cocoon of remembered love. And I am afraid. I am afraid when I hold her hand and fear yours was not as sweaty. I'm afraid when I turn to her in love and call her by a name she has heard more often from your lips. I am afraid when I disrobe before her and wonder whether you were taller, stronger, better built than I am. I am afraid when she holds my face in her soft hands and looks into my eyes, for I do not know what she sees there, myself, or the ghost of your memory, and I cringe when sometimes in the dark, that great leveler, she shudders beneath my touch and cries your name. Alone with her, I fear that night. And I fear you. I fear you not as a remnant of a past that was beautiful and personal and very, very happy. A past I cannot deny her because it is a part of her life, of what she is to me. But I fear you instead as a looming, threatening shadow that might one day emerge from her past into my present. Emerge to shatter that little world I've created for myself and her. For I know and she knows and we both acknowledge that you have a prior claim on her that I can never supersede. You are the first man she gave herself to, and she was yours till you left her. Till you left her. Left her for the attractions of an alien land where there was money, and pride and that intangible thing you termed satisfaction. Left her with a ring and a promise you would return to redeem the pledge it represented. And she let you go, accepting your departure as unavoidable, refusing to be tempting into hoping for your return because she loved you. But she waited. That was the tragedy of it all. She waited. For what? She did not know. But she waited. And while I came to love her and seek her for myself, she would not give herself to me. She was yours, and in her waiting, she remained yours. Then, little by little, she succumbed to a woman's need to be wanted, loved, and cared for. But she never let me forget, with each iota of her resistance that gave way, that she was not mine. And as I tried to place the shroud of my affections over her, to cover her with a love that would shut out the pressures of external things, I realized the shattering truth. The truth that while her body, her time, her nominal existence might be given to me, her mind and heart were still waiting for you. I did not know how long she would wait, how long she could wait. But then, she herself did not know what she was waiting for. As time passed, I began to hope that its passage would slowly eradicate, if not the memory, the need to sustain it. Loving her, I slowly learned not to expect anything in return, or even from myself. All along, I was gentle and loving and patient, and all broken up inside. Then you wrote, telling her you were alive and doing well, and you still cared, or thought you cared, and presuming with the easy confidence of long possession that she was still yours and she had not changed. I remember her face the day she got your letter. With your casual, effortless words, you touched a chord in her. I'd never been able to feel quietly that evening, soundlessly, giving vent to a pain I knew she felt deeper inside than I had ever seen. She wept and she cried for you in my arms. She did not reply to your letter, and yet, with that non-gesture, she seemed only to grow even more remote from me. Remote and beautiful, and so much more in need of the love I was so willing to give her. I loved her then in a strange, new kind of way, as one loves a finely turned sentence in a book that one wishes one could write, but knows one can't. It was easier then to be reconciled to her inaccessibility. But perhaps that was what made her what she was, a Mona Lisa, and I could never meet her smile. Every time I touched her, it was a commitment not to possess. And when your second letter came, and she did not reply to that one too, I knew in a strange way that it only reaffirmed the terms of my commitment. You did not write again, and if you had, perhaps she still would not reply. but she's still waiting. And that is why I still fear you. For as long as you remain away and tell her you love her from the other end of a postage stamp, I know I can still preserve my tenuous hold on the reality of her life. But I'm afraid that you may not. I'm afraid that one day you will step out of that murky half light of remembered importance and enter the harsher glare of tomorrow's sun. And then I do not know what will happen to you. But perhaps you will not. Perhaps she will go on waiting for that something within her to break or bloom. Perhaps one day it will, and it will not be you affecting the change, but I and my relationship with her. Yes, I too will wait and hope. For I know that there is one thing in her you will never understand. That the ring she wears in her second finger is not yours but mine. That the surname she bears today is not the one you wrote on the airmail envelope you addressed to her, but the one I signed on our marriage register. That she chose at all to marry me when she was still yours. But there is one thing I know that you will never learn and that the world will never tell you. That 6 months after she became my wife, she bore me your son.